My name is Chris Rael. Some pronounce it Rael. Born in Washington, D.C. in 1961, I love music and I've traveled all over the world. That's me playing with my band Church of Betty in New York City. I lived and studied music in India for a long time and feel drawn to things Indian, which is interesting because I have a little Indian blood, just not that kind of Indian. I grew up on the East Coast not knowing that I had a whole other family living out in the West. So when I was in India, maybe I was a little like Columbus in 1492, thinking he'd found home when he was actually on the other side of the world. My father, Richard Rael, was born in Denver, the son of Joseph Rael and Flora Manzaneras. The family moved east in the 40s when my dad was still a boy. My grandfather Joe had had a falling out with his father Antonio, and I never knew anyone named Rael outside my own immediate family. My grandparents Joe and Flora were proud of their European Spanish heritage. My grandma had some Navajo blood too. We are not Mexican, they would say. My father didn't speak Spanish. My grandparents used it as a code language so us kids couldn't understand what they were saying. My dad only met his grandfather Antonio once, when he hitchhiked to Colorado as a teenager. The only brown boy in an all-white suburb, my dad caught holy hell growing up. He met my mom, Nancy Tonkin, when they were very young. Mom's family was of Anglo and German descent and lily white. As you can see here, we came out different shades. Sister Allison is dark like Dad. Brother Patrick and I look pretty gringo. At Christmas of 2003, I asked my dad, "Just where was your father born anyway?" "Grenville, New Mexico," he said. A couple months later, my wife Susanna and I had concerts in Austin and Los Angeles with a few weeks in between. So we took a long drive through the Southwest to experience the wonders of nature and to have a look at Grenville.
Chris, we're finally getting going on our trip, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Oh my God, and we were here at the Golden Palm Casino.
Golden Palm Casino, it smells a lot like a urinal.
Yeah.
But that's okay because
we're heading out now.
In the clear and jeweled waters, and if you think I'm ready, you may lead me to the chasm where the rivers of our vision flow into one
'Cause the fiery and the snorty are raring to go. Where are we going?
Grenville. We're going to my Indian relatives.
We drove all the way across the state of New Mexico, and everywhere we went, we said we were heading to Grenville. Never heard of it, people said. We drove further and further into the northeast corner of the state, and the closer we got, the more people said they hadn't heard of it. We thought it was odd, until Susie noticed a number on the map and asked, "What's this 24 stand for?" "I think that's the population," I said.
Population of Grenville, Chris?
24, Susie.
We were finally only a couple miles away, and as we approached, a song came on the radio about home.
The sun.
They say the neon lights are bright on Broadway. They say there's always magic in the air. But when you're walking down the street and you ain't had enough to eat, the glitter of right off and you're nowhere.
This is Grenville. Oh, man. Grenville. It's got a feeling, baby.
It was strange and beautiful. There was barely anything there. My grandfather's birthplace was a real ghost town.
Oh
office or something?
Yeah. Somebody's around. They got a lot of candles.
Hello? Not surprisingly, I guess, the Grenville Town Hall was deserted when we arrived.
Grenville, this is like from the 50s. Precinct ballot box, voting box.
The clippings on the wall told us that when my grandfather was a boy, Grenville was a much busier place. This was sheep and cattle country, and apparently in the 20s they had high hopes for an oil boom. It must not have worked out.
Look at the first schoolhouse in Grenville. This is the post office. I guess that's it.
Let us recall the glorious days with longing and affection, and in our hearts cherish memories of the dead who forged our pride's direction.
Grenville was once filled with souls, and there are very few left who even remember them. We went to the deserted, wind-blown cemetery, where I found tombstones with my name on them. So many young women and children died here in the 20s. No wonder the families moved to Denver. I always wondered if my grandpa's love of Spain was some kind of claim to whiteness, but he was proud of who he was. He moved east to try to make a better life for his family, to make a better life for me. Thank you, Grandpa.
We share our love and celebrate the three graces.
Susanna is always looking, and she saw there was a local museum with genealogical records in Clayton 30 miles away, so we went to have a look. The museum was great. We spent the whole afternoon pouring through records. Take a look at these two, Teófilo and Josefita Rael, near the turn of the last century. And how about this guy, Albert Rael? If that's not the personality of an artist, I don't know what is. There was a great flood in Folsom in 1914, the year my grandfather was born. And finally, the guitar. Signed by all the local musicians. And what do we have here? Raels. I'm not the only one. Here's another, Ronnie J. Rael, right on the headstock. The folks in the museum saw what we were doing, and one of them said that he knew a Rael, so he put me in touch with Rosie Rael de Herrera. Well, thank you so much. It would be lovely to meet you. I know you're in a meeting. Oh yeah? Want to stop by? Oh, okay. What's your address?
Listen, I'm calling you because there's a guy in town and his wife, and they were at the museum here in town, and his name is Chris Rael.
Rosie called Ruth Chavez, the matriarch of the Rael family in Clayton.
And he's trying to find, he's just wanting information on his family and that kind of thing. And I was going to take him by to introduce him to you.
Oh, very nice to meet you.
That's what I told him. I said, hello, I'm your prima. Anyway, this is our aunt, and she's the only one living from my
I'm next.
I was going to show you the CD. He's a musician.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And he's got a CD out.
Oh. Like when you were a little girl, did you grow up in Folsom? Where did you grow up?
No, I grew
You were
up
always here.
in the other side of Folsom.
Emery Gap.
Embry
Oh,
Gap.
Emery Gap. You grew up
Emery
over
Gap.
there.
She's like the.
Well, I have a rail here.
You know, they call
Well,
her if somebody dies.
his name
they
is
call her, and
Chris.
she lets us all know.
Yeah, from
Your
where?
New York City.
New York City.
Well,
So when
Huh?
she dies,
He's a Rael. His parents used to be living in Grenville.
This is my brother Ronnie.
Oh!
It was the guy from the guitar, Ronnie Rael.
Hi, how are you going? Hi. You're the other musician. You're both musicians.
I try to think that I am. Hello, Tia.
He's very modest.
Mujeres habrá muchas en el mundo, pero otra como tú nunca la encuentro. Un cielo para mí es lo que tú eres, un cielo todo lleno de alegría. Mi vida, mi cariño es para ti.
By now, my mind was completely blown. Ronnie, probably my cousin and certainly looking like family, was playing music that my grandparents would have danced to.
Yeah, this new school style of music is basically pretty simple, you know, but it's a unique style.
No, it's powerful. We love it.
And it's just something different that, and it's easy to dance to.
Yeah.
All it is just, you know, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Dios está aquí, qué hermoso es, Él lo prometió donde hay 2 o 3. Quédate Señor, quédate Señor, quédate Señor en cada corazón. Quédate Señor, quédate Señor, quédate Señor en mí.
I listen to music all day long.
Mi vida y mi
I work with music.
para ti.
Yeah.
I'm riding these giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, giddy up blues. Now riding from these giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, giddy up blues. I can't fight these giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, giddy up blues. I'm riding these giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, giddy up blues.
I understood this woman was really special. We connected right away. We were bonded already. We just didn't know how. Everyone called her Tia Ruth. We drove back to Raton that night, our heads spinning. We had to continue to LA, but I couldn't believe what happened in Clayton. It was incredible. It took a few days of picking through records, but I finally figured out how Tia Ruth and I were connected. Her father's brother, Juan, was my great-great-grandfather. Father of Antonio, father of Joseph, father of Richard, father of me. She was almost exactly my grandfather's age. It was like having a 5th grandparent drop out of the sky on you in your 40s. Wonderful. Rosie and Ruthie told us about a Garcia Rael family reunion happening in just a couple of months in June 2004. So we came back with our friend Ricky to meet some more Raels. On the way there, I asked Susie how many people she thought might come, and she guessed 30 or 40. We were only off by a couple hundred.
Oh, hi, I'm Susanna.
My name is
Elena Garcia Romero. I was born in Clayton, in Folsom, Mexico, in 1936.
Hi, I'm Susanna.
Where are you from? New York.
How you doing, young fella? Arthur Rael.
Hello, Arthur. I'm Chris. Very nice to meet you.
I'm from Denver.
Oh, the land is your mother? See? I'm getting the hang of it here.
Yeah. I still haven't gotten anything straight myself.
I'm Susanna.
Susanna?
Yeah.
Jose Manuel Domingo Garcia Rael.
Okay.
See, my name is not even Annie.
I know, you're Adelena.
Margarita de Laida. But I don't know where they got Addie. Somehow they nicknamed me Addie, I guess.
My dad,
Yeah.
Rosendo, used to cook for the ranches here in the northeast corner of the state. And what he would do is he'd set up a chuck wagon. I mean, a real chuck wagon. And he'd go out for the roundups, and they'd travel from ranch to ranch as they'd round up. They all got together and rounded up the cattle, branded, loaded up, whatever the case may be. But he'd go out, and he'd be the first one up and the last one to go to bed. That was just, it was the old style. They used to do that. He had a skillet, a cast iron skillet, well, they had a bunch of these. Then he had Dutch ovens. And in those Dutch ovens, he'd cook bread and make tortillas, and it was just, that was the way it was done.
My dad, his brothers, a couple of his brothers, Uncle Ralph, my Uncle Steve, they all worked for the railroad.
What were they doing up there?
What,
In
railroad?
Grenville, yeah.
I think they used to catch that little, you seen those little motoro, they call it, little cart. It goes along and it holds like six people. They'd pick them up there, and then they'd go up and down the line, fixing, ties and, whatever needed repair, raking, putting rocks down, whatever they needed.
My dad used to take us to Colorado and work out in the fields. Out in the fields, to work out there in the fields.
Oh, yeah? Which part?
There and around Rocky Fork. We went around there, back there. We went to Alamosa one year. We were picking peas. They used to grow a lot of peas in the 30s.
All of my brothers, generalists, boys, and all of us served in the service.
But we had 20 children in our family.
I know.
And we think it's so strange. We never realized we were poor. We had no clue. My mother, we would fight over the flour sacks that had flowers on the material. It's my turn this time. It's my turn. And my mother would make us blouses, usually maybe a skirt. But I said, we had no clue what poverty was. We were just happy.
I remember my mom used to say that they used to go on horseback in a covered wagon. They used to go from Pasamone up to Grenville, all them little places out there.
What were they doing?
They were going to dances.
You dance to rancheras.
Yeah,
well, you're going to learn tonight.
Yeah.
wile e coyote, prowling all around the town. I'm a wile e coyote, prowling all around the town. I'm two flavors, baby, not quite white, not quite brown.
When I came to New Mexico, I thought I was coming to look at a place. Little did I know I would meet so many incredible people. Now I come back whenever I can, to visit Tia, to see my primos, and to eat the great food.
I'm two flavors, baby, not quite brown, not quite white. Yeah!
I'm very close with my family back in the East, and I hope they'll come out here someday, because we never knew what it was like to grow up with a big family. I also love learning about Spanish American culture, because to get where you're going, it really helps to know where you've been.
We've learned that the family is really not Mexican, it's Spanish.
And as far as we can find out, we go back to the 16th century.
Not Irish,
Jewish.
Jewish.
Yeah.
There's stories about...
Yeah, that they took the IS and just stayed with the RAEL. I wonder if that's true.
Oh, history,
Because you hardly ever, like when you went to school, what did you see in the books? Cortez, a paragraph of Cortez, Panza de Leon, you know.
Right.
Hardly nothing.
In 2006, Susanna and I had performances in Europe. This gave us a chance to visit Andalusia in southern Spain, the area where the Raels came from. I had learned so much going from the east to New Mexico, I thought I could do a little exploring and maybe bring some information back to my family all over America. What I learned in the medieval town of Cordoba is that the major religions of the world mix together here in southern Spain. This is the Mezquita, a mosque built by the Moors way back in the 8th century. When the Christians overran the Moors, they built a beautiful cathedral right here on the same spot. These images are from the very same building.
Al mundo de la verdad.
And since it seems so relevant to the family story, let's not forget the Spanish Jews. These images are from a hidden synagogue where Moreno Jews like the Raels would practice in secret during the time of the Inquisition. The song that I'm playing for you here is a medieval Spanish Sephardic song. We heard this music in Cordoba, and it felt so similar to the style that I had made with Indian sounds in my band Church of Betty that I had to record some for you. This is the Alcázar, the huge fort and palace where the Inquisition was carried out against the Jews of Andalusia. This is the courtroom where the Jews were tried, and this is the dungeon where the unlucky ones ended up. The Raels were nobles in the court of the Queen. They had to leave Spain because of the Inquisition, but they left on good terms and received land grants from Queen Isabella for the New World. They came across with Cortez, so our ancestors are among the very first Americans of all. Okay, this is the Cordoba telephone book. Well, we found many Raels in Albuquerque and in Clayton. We come back to Cordoba in Spain, where the Raels were sent from to the New World. Here we have Rael Garcia and a few names. Raels Gutierrez, but only a few Raels. They're almost all gone.
Well, here we are in Aguilar, the town in Andalusia where the Raels came from before they came to America. We look around, it's quiet, it's in the country, it's very quiet. The Raels are all gone, all of the families with the Jewish names are gone, but we're here, and it's a nice thing to see.
It was also hotter than hell, and while I tend to put a happy face on things, you can always count on Susie to tell it like it is. What's your take on Aguilar?
Well, it's a quiet, rural place. They're not very friendly and towards outsiders, and
Some of them are what?
just dumb as shit.
Next, we headed to Sanlúcar, the port city that Cortez sailed from. These days, Sanlúcar is a summer holiday destination for middle-class Spaniards. We came here looking for traces of my ancestors. Perhaps some records, a history museum, or at the very least a look at the port that Cortez sailed from. But this port is long gone.
Una madiga de ruda, una madiga de flor. Hija mía, mi querida, dime a mí quién te la dio.
Swallowed back into the sea by centuries, it's as if the port of Sanlúcar never even existed.
Me la dio un mancebo que de mí se enamoró.
This 15th century church could have been a place where people traveling to the New World, such as the early Raels, may have come to be blessed with good luck before leaving. It's not even open. It's Sunday morning. Suzanne and I came here expecting it to be open to show you the inside. And to see the inside, but all we get is the outside. Sevilla, the capital of Andalusia, is one of the great cities of the world. Andalusia's Judeo-Christian mix is evident here in the Church of Santa Cruz, with stained glass on one side and Hebrew script on the other. This is the door of Santa Cruz Church. I've been to enough bar mitzvahs in my day to recognize a Star of David when I see one. From the rim of the volcano.
The land where my family came from is now part of the Doherty Ranch, which is about 50 miles from here.
Oh, what's it called?
The Doherty Ranch?
No, but what's the town area?
The town is called Emery Gap.
The ranch was, like you say, the Dohertys took over the ranches. Of course, we owed, I guess they owed a lot.
For the groceries and everything.
For not only groceries and
clothes, maybe
clothes
shoes
and everything.
There's nothing, not even a bird. You're gonna never see a bird fly there.
In 2007, Suzanne and I visited the Doherty Ranch to visit the ancestral land of the Raels. The Doherty family was very welcoming, with memory and respect for the family who came before.
In those days, they had, like we have our bedrooms. Then we had mattresses and put them on top of the beds, you know, high. From them, then we used to get mattresses and put it on the floor and sleep in the floor. Big kitchen. Another table like this, a table, long table, no chairs, tarimas, you know. I don't know how you call them. Benches. Benches, yeah. I was buying horses and cattle and goats. We had milk goats too. We had to milk the goats. I loved to milk the cows.
Tell us about what a funeral was like then.
So they used to empty one room, take everything out except chairs, you know, benches and chairs around, all around the room. People could sit down and stay up all night and pray at midnight, pray every little while around the coffin. And they used to light a lot of candles around. And then they'd have a big supper at midnight. And the men used to sing, you know, the alabaos, they used to call them alabaos.
Those are special songs, right?
Special songs, yeah. It was hard living, but then we were happy. It was hard, we were happy. We never were sad that we didn't have a nickel. We didn't care. We didn't have no money. As long as we had something to eat. And we had plenty to eat too. We were always taking care of our older people. I used to take care of another lady that used to live close by me in Folsom, just because she was alone. I used to go there and find the couches in the bed, and I'd take all the sheets and wash them in the washboard, and give her a bath, and put her back to bed, and I go home.
Was she a relative?
No.
What was her name?
Sarah. Mm-hmm.
And she was an older lady?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Didn't have nobody.
But the people looked out more for each other then.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Without pay. And then we used to take care of each other.
Was that connected with the church or just...
No, just goodwill.
Who was the greatest beauty in those days? You don't know? How happy?
I'm ecstatic. Eating roast with chili and Tia's tortillas.
Yeah. Here's Tia, the tortilla maker.
My mama's people long ago came on the Mayflower. My daddy's great-great-great-granddaddy's with Cortez. D-A-R or D-U-I, all the tragedies of life settled on my forefathers upon both sides.
She's my ex-wife and also my ex-sister. My brother Dennis married her too, but he only lasted 3 months. Ah, damn rookie, and you were a Marine? What's the matter with you? No guts, no glory.
She was a tall suburban alabaster beauty. She was a siren calling from the other side. Youthful passion, foolish dreams in which I was conceived made the chaos that still occupies my mind. Look at this skin, see pasty white. Get to know the hot blood inside. There's a voice inside my head in a language I don't speak but recognize. My family washed away the Southwest and its memory. I never knew my history or my family's pride until my skin began to burn and the sun urged me to learn where the darkness in my heart was sanctified. And so I traveled to the far side of the mountains, tracking trails through the silence and through time, until I found some cousins there, strangers looking from my mirror. Now I'm finally reunited with my tribe. Look at this skin, see pearly white. Now I know the hot blood inside.